Hey everyone, this podcast is part of Story Mode, the podcast network of Gamefully Unemployed. You can support us and gain access to other great exclusive podcasts like Tom and Jeff Watch Batman by heading over to patreon.com/gamefullyunemployed. That's patreon.com/GAMEFULLY unemployed, which is spelled like it sounds.
Hypecast mit Tom Reimann und David Bell.
I thought we'd been started.
Well, we're more or less started at this point.
Hey everyone!
Hi.
Hi there.
Hello, welcome to another episode of Hypecast! Show where we get
Hypecast.
hyped about stuff and things. I'm your co-host, Tom Ryman.
I am your other co-host, David Bell.
And I'm the guest back again, Adam Ganser.
Yeah, welcome back.
Yeah, thank you.
Our
So
schedules,
pleased.
our schedules weren't aligning, and now
4
they
months.
are. Yeah,
Yeah.
and you've been missed.
Yeah, I've really missed it.
Yeah,
I've missed you demanding remakes of movies that were already bad. That's like, right? You've been doing that, haven't you?
probably.
Yeah.
that sounds like something I
Yeah,
do.
really, it sounds like a real Dave maneuver.
Yeah. That's what I call pulling a Dave, actually.
Pulling a Dave.
Yeah, in my blog, which you don't know about. It's a blog. Why am I doing that?
I don't know. I don't know why you would do that to yourself. Why in the
I
year of
don't
our
know.
Lord 2019 would you would you start a blog? But
No idea.
why would you do that?
Literally no idea.
Oh no.
No idea.
Oh no.
So how's everybody doing?
I'm doing pretty good, man.
That's good.
Pretty good.
I'm doing great.
Okay.
5 o'clock.
It is
In
5 o'clock.
Outside the city of Los Angeles. It's nice out here.
Yeah. Oh, yeah, there's mountains.
Yeah.
Some pretty mountains.
Yeah. Birds tweeting.
Yeah. Yeah. This is some good small talk, you
Birds.
guys.
Tweeting angrily at the president.
Sure.
Tweeting and
him
subtweeting.
tweeting back.
Oh, you guys psyched for the debate tonight?
Yeah.
I'm psyched
That's
for it.
happening?
I see. I didn't watch the first one.
Neither did I.
Yeah, I heard Elizabeth Warren did well, and I was not surprised to hear that.
Yeah, I mean,
Yeah, of course.
Yeah.
It's her and a bunch of other people who are never going to be president.
Yep.
Yeah, but like some of those people are like, wow, like Beto O'Rourke and Cory Booker was on that stage.
Mm-hmm,
Those are names of people I know.
They definitely are the names of people I know.
Yeah,
Yeah. I mean, I know John Dillinger's name too.
Yeah, that's true.
he's got a great name.
That's a pretty sweet name.
It's a slick name.
He really lucked out. Like he came of age and figured out what his name was. Like, well, I can really only
Yeah.
do one thing with a name like this.
Yeah.
And
absolutely.
That's murder people with a machine gun.
He
Yeah.
earned it.
I think either that or be a porn star.
Oh, that's
Yeah, I guess
That's
you
a
could.
good
but
porn
see,
star
then you need
name.
a name more like Chad Grease or something like that.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Chad Grease. That's a
Chad
good
Grease.
fucking.
That's a
gonna
man
get
with a
greased.
destiny. Yeah.
Yeah,
That's a
I see
very
it now.
appealing name.
I see it.
I thought so.
Shall we get to the trailers?
Yeah, let's do that.
Sure.
Yeah.
Let's do that thing.
Let's do it.
We're starting with Charlie's Angels. This came out today.
Mhm.
It's got
You mean Elizabeth Banks is Charlie's Angels?
yes, she directed, right?
Yes. Yeah.
She directed, wrote the screenplay for, and is in the trailer more than Charlie's Angels.
Yeah. I mean, if Elizabeth Banks came to me and I was
Sure.
a producer and was like, "Look, I made another Charlie's Angels," I'd be like, "Sure," because like who no one
else
else
would be
is
doing
making
that?
one.
Yeah.
And it's like, yeah, why not? Why not make another Charlie's Angels with Kirsten Stewart in it? Kristen,
It's Kristen.
who I'm a big fan of ever since watching her in Personal Shopper. I think she's very good. She did the same thing as Robert Pattinson, where she just did a bunch of indie stuff after Twilight.
She made a lot of interesting choices.
yeah,
I've only seen Twilight with her in it,
right, yeah,
and that was
no.
not thrilling. For me.
Both her and Robert Pattinson. After that, I think they were just like, okay, we better do some like.
We got to get the fuck out of here.
Yeah, we got to get some acting cred.
all
for
those
a while.
movies required of them was to be dead-eyed mannequins.
Yeah, which they did a great job
Yeah.
with.
Sure.
Sure.
Yeah,
Sure. Well, she was supposed to act awkward, and somehow that
she had chosen
was the worst thing in the movie.
I think she's I mean, this is just based off of watching her performances. I think she's like a weirdo. Like, I think she's like approximating how a human acts in a lot of her films, and she does a good job at them in some of the movies.
She might be a little Crispin Glover.
Yeah, exactly.
Well,
she's got
let's let her earn it
crispy.
First.
Right.
Let's let her earn this first.
Okay.
You know, earn this.
Yeah.
You know.
But I thought this trailer was really off.
Yeah, you said that. I'm surprised you don't have an objection to this movie existing at all.
No, I mean, who gives a shit? I
guess that's the rule.
You know, I like the other Charlie's Angels too. I mean, I think when you're bringing back like a campy TV show, it's really like, who gives a shit?
Yeah, it's sort of like all bets are off. It's just like, well, let's see what you do.
Well, what's interesting about it, as opposed to the other ones, is that the Charlie's Angel characters are basically not that important right now. Like, the actors playing them are not that important.
Yeah.
And that's exactly the opposite of what the other Charlie's Angels series and movies were.
Right. Oh,
Yeah, it's true.
what is Patrick Stewart in this?
Just a guy, right?
I don't know. I thought he was Charlie, but he sure
I
isn't.
thought he was Bosley, and then
No, Elizabeth Banks is Bosley.
yeah,
Right.
I think he's gonna die. I think he's gonna be old Bosley, like their first Bosley, and then he'll die, and new Bosley will show up. But
Greeting, angels. I'm Bud. He just immediately shot.
I honestly think I think the inciting incident will be like
dart
the death
of some like exotic poison that leads them around the world.
Yeah, of course. Leads them to their third angel.
Some pufferfish poison
Yeah.
right in his goddamn eyeball.
Yep.
But yeah, I know what you mean about the casting, where it's like, I mean, Kristen Stewart is the only one who's like, oh no, I mean, shit, what's her name?
Naomi Scott.
Yeah.
It's just in Aladdin.
Yeah, she's great. I liked her in Aladdin a lot.
She is good, but she's not a recognizable name yet.
No.
She's gonna
I
be.
mean, people will be. I've already seen reactions on Twitter. People are like, "Is that Princess Jasmine?" So like, people will recognize her as Princess Jasmine.
Right.
And that's
but like,
fine.
yeah,
It's
Yeah,
just
that's
interesting. It's interesting. The studio has to find somebody to be like, we're going to anchor this movie around this person.
Right.
And they decided it was Elizabeth Banks. And is Elizabeth Banks a known commodity
I don't know.
for people?
Probably not. I don't think this is going to do well box office wise for the reasons you're describing, but I think it might be a better movie for it because.
But like, the only reason to make a Charlie's Angels is for it to do well in the box office.
Yes, I know that.
So what you're saying is this is the Titanic.
Well, I guess what I was getting to is the idea that we used to feel the need, like Marvel, for example, they cast their superheroes not based on who's the biggest, hottest star. They were just finding actors who were really fitting for it.
Yes, and Marvel, you'll come for this.
Yeah,
Right.
we've learned for that. Well, Marvel had the advantage of being like, well, we're Marvel. Like they started with Robert Downey Jr. to get people interested, and then after that, they were like, okay, now we can. Then that's what the Mummy movie was trying to do with Tom Cruise, but that's when you see how it goes like really wrong.
Yeah.
You know, where they cast people, and I think the first Charlie's Angels, those movies, which I enjoyed, directed by Mick G. Good old Mick G.
Stop trying to bait me. I hate you threw
I'm
that
not
at me.
trying
You
to
knew it was
bait
baiting.
you.
Yes, you did. You knew it was baiting. Keep going.
But that one, it felt like it was too many big names, all kind of being involved. I don't know. Like that movie is like cartoonish.
Yeah.
And it was also made in a time where like we would make that style of action comedy where it's
True.
over the top.
Which I miss, actually. This movie felt like it could be more of a comedy than it is.
It definitely doesn't need to be gritty.
No,
Right.
I don't think it's
doesn't
trying to
look
be.
gritty to me. Yeah.
No.
No. I was scared when I first heard about it that it was going to like be gritty.
It
or
is
something.
between tones, though.
Yeah.
Like, it's not funny. It's not, like, I mean, and I'm not trying to belittle it, but it's not Stuber.
Well,
you know what I mean? Like,
yeah.
it's not some, like,
No, but
action
it's-
comedy.
No, but it is like it has that. It's fun.
Yeah.
Yeah.
If that makes sense. It's
Yeah,
like,
it does.
Yeah, it's not jokey, but it's just kind of like real. It's like light, and the characters seem like all three of the angels seem like cool and fun, and like it
Right.
seems like it's like, you know, like it's not. I think it seems like it has the right tone. I think for me.
Yeah.
I'm bored by this movie. Maybe because Charlie's Angels immediately is like,
Well, I think
why are we doing this
the
again?
premise
But-
of Charlie's Angels is a little dated because
Yeah.
It is.
they're doing the thing where it's three women who are clearly have their shit together, and are like badass, but then they get so excited when they hear Charlie's voice, which is in the trailer where they're like, "Oh, Charlie!"
That was weird, yeah.
And that's always been a Charlie's Angels
Right,
thing.
yeah.
But I feel like the original Charlie's Angels was clearly like a male fantasy,
Yes.
Definitely.
mixed into, and it's like they don't really need that anymore. And it's like I'm sure they'll handle it fine. The people making this are, like Elizabeth Banks seems to be passionate about this, and as
Sure. Why not?
like you said, written and directed it. So it's
well, she wrote
clearly
the
someone's.
screenplay. She did not write the story.
Oh, okay. It's clearly someone's vision. I mean, like, and it seems to be hers. So I'm curious to see what they do with that.
I mean, it's a good opportunity for anybody. Like, almost anybody who's not an established director, like a really established director.
Right.
If you're offered a screenplay of Charlie's Angels with these actors, you do it.
Right.
You know what I mean? So it's not like it's a good opportunity. That doesn't make it a passion project.
Right. I guess this is reminding me of like Chris Rock's Saw movie that's now filming. Where when I
excited
hear
about
that,
that.
I'm like, he must have like a really good idea.
Yeah, I'm excited about that.
Yeah, and I think maybe that's what this is too,
I
because
hope
it's
so.
so random that she must have like taken acid in the desert and been like, I have a great Charlie's Angels idea. Like it was something that like something very specific. At least that's my assumption because it's so random.
See, I am coming at, and maybe this is too cynical. I'm coming at it from the opposite point of view.
Okay.
I'm looking at it when I see a story by credit. I'm thinking these two dudes were like, we're going to write a movie that's for women, and then it got bought by a studio, and they repackaged it around Elizabeth Banks. And
Oh,
then they're
maybe.
gonna, like that's how it looks to me.
That would have been smart of the studio.
Because otherwise, if I'm Elizabeth Banks, I'm like, I'm not going to do Charlie's Angels.
Right.
I'm going to do my own secret, like I'm going to do my own action thing.
yeah, unless
Why not?
maybe she's a fan.
Maybe
know?
she's a fan. Sure.
Yeah.
That's possible.
It definitely doesn't seem like there wasn't a studio executive slamming his fist on the desk demanding a Charlie's Angels.
No, I don't
nobody's
think so.
demanding this.
I don't
And
think so.
I would be surprised if this had a higher budget than like what, 40 million?
Yeah, this looks low budget. It looks like
Yeah,
an
low-ish
action
budget.
film. Yeah.
But there's a lot of stunts in a Charlie's Angels thing.
Yeah.
It can't. They're gonna have to blow some shit up.
They better.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, we'll see. I'm not saying I hate this.
Yeah. Explosions are cheap if you film it in like the right country or like the right
Sure.
place. There's
Yeah,
countries,
Sure. Or if you just don't care.
yeah, or if you
You
don't
know?
care for,
Yeah.
if you don't care about safety,
Right.
Yeah.
If nobody's life matters to you, you just
Yeah.
fucking whatever.
If human life can be valued as less than the explosion,
Yes.
then sure.
which
You
I mean
can buy
depends
a
on
lot
the
of gasoline
explosion.
for $100.
Yeah.
I'm saying.
How many movie tickets can you purchase in terms of gasoline? We got a real scam we're running here.
All right, I think the subject of explosions is a good segue into our next trailer,
Yes.
which is Midway. It is
Yep.
the Roland Emmerich war movie that we've all been waiting
Yeah.
for.
Yeah. Yeah. Yeah.
Roland
I knew you guys
Emmerich
were gonna be
remakes
pumped.
Pearl
Yeah.
Harbor.
It was like for a minute there, I was like, "Is this Pearl Harbor?"
Yeah.
It was almost exactly the same movie.
Yeah.
This
Yeah.
I don't think this movie's going to do very good.
Oh no.
I can't
I
figure
don't
out
think-
why. I can't figure out what the part of it that is interesting is.
Yes. I don't think we as a society need this movie,
No.
but I need it.
No. Yeah.
Yeah, because it's
I was happy for you when I was watching it.
yeah.
Yeah. It's like, oh, Dave is really going to be excited about this.
This is gonna really make his afternoon.
This
Yeah.
is really
His
gonna brighten up his
mid-afternoon.
day, Yeah. It's like, oh,
Yeah,
good.
this- Yeah. This reminded me that I have to rewatch Independence Day
Yeah. Twice.
Resurrection Insurrection in
Resurgence.
I
Yeah.
almost got it.
Regurgitation.
Resurgence.
I thought is what it was.
Yeah.
Yeah. You see what you do, Dave, is you stop and you think about what words mean.
No, I would have never guessed. I would have never guessed
That
it.
was the sharpest I've ever heard Tom's barbed tongue swing at you. Just for those of you who aren't World War II historians, because I'm not, Midway is the battle that we won after Pearl Harbor, which was quote unquote the deciding battle of the Pacific
Oh.
for us.
Pretty.
I
yeah.
know. And like that's why I was like, so that isn't in this trailer? Why not? Why isn't it in the trailer?
I guess because they're building up to Midway, but it was like there's this
Yeah.
weird tone, and again, not a World War II historian, but like the point of Pearl Harbor was to knock out the carriers of the Pacific Fleet.
Yes.
They weren't there, so Pearl
Right.
Harbor as a mission was technically a failure. And there's this weird tone in the trailer where it's like they literally say we're the underdogs. We have to prove that the United States Navy is not a joke. I'm like, motherfucker, nobody thought the U.S. Navy was a joke. That was the whole point of the attack.
The Japanese overestimated their power historically.
Yeah.
Fine. And like, I'm not trying to get into it. Like, who cares?
But this is, I think this is why I'm
it's just
enjoying this.
Yeah, it's one of those weird. They're like injecting even like we need more reasons to be jingoistic. It's like we're the underdogs. It's like no, we're not.
Yeah,
why?
But I feel like was in a lot of war movies for a while.
Yeah.
And that's why this feels nostalgic. This feels like Pearl Harbor because Pearl Harbor is the same way, where it's like such an oversimplification of a war or a historical moment to make Americans just completely the good guys. And I think obviously it's dangerous for a lot of reasons to do that as a society.
It's like way out of
but
date
but that's the thing is we've kind of gone past that so much that now when I see this, I'm like, oh, this is adorable. Like
only Roland Emmerich can sell this.
Yeah, it's such a Roland Emmerich thing to do.
For sure, it is. I agree with that. Like I was trying to think in my mind as I was watching it, like what case do they think they need to make for me to watch this movie? Because every trailer's like an argument for why you should watch the movie, right?
Right.
Yeah.
This one was just like, it's World War II in America, right?
But it's,
like that's all they thought they needed to say.
Yeah.
And I was like, no, dude.
Yeah.
They're also showing. All right, here's a question: do we know a single character in this?
Patrick Wilson.
Do they show off Patrick Wilson?
And we know him
looking great.
He's the lead.
Yeah,
probably.
I love Patrick Wilson being in a Roland Emmerich film.
Sure, hell yeah.
I think he should do another one, like a more like an alien.
He should do
one,
Independence Day.
Yeah, something that's allowed
He's
to be
perfect for an Independence Day.
Yeah, he is.
That's
he could be
true.
the scientist. He could be like the
He
Jeff
could be
Goldblum
anything.
scientist.
He could be the president. He could be the military
be the
commander.
president.
He could be any person in Independence Day. He's perfect for it.
They're never gonna.
Do you think he's like he's corny enough? I just feel like
I
I think he could be corny enough.
Yeah,
because I really like him in movies.
Oh, me too.
yeah. Oh, he's a great actor,
too.
but I think he could really, fart out some bad lines.
I think he can go ham bone.
Because I'm thinking to myself, like a toned down Nick Cage could really crush a Roland Emmerich.
Oh yeah.
You know?
Well, I think yeah.
Take a 5-minute fuck break after that.
I think every.
I just think Nick Cage should be in every movie, but yeah.
Oh yeah. No, every Roland Emmerich film, he's had tons of good and bad, and actors at various levels.
Truly fascinating career.
But all the acting, I think, comes from like I think he walks up and he gives them their direction, and he walks away, and the actor turns to the other actor and goes, "I have no idea what he was just talking about." And I think that's how all his direction. Yeah, exactly. And I think every actor is just no matter what range they are, how good or bad they are just confused on the set of a Roland Emmerich film.
I don't know what
I think
he
they're
wants
given
me
very
to
little
do.
help. Yeah.
I just don't know anymore. Just more of it. Just keep saying more of it.
I mean, Jeff Goldblum handled it because he was like, well, I'm just going to be Jeff Goldblum.
Yeah.
I mean, I think Jeff Goldblum has like just mystery seduction powers that he can direct in any place.
Right. He has like
I know. I've heard your story.
He's like
I'm teeing you up for
vampiric
it.
compulsion.
Well, no. Because when you go back and watch Jurassic Park, that's one where it's like he is taking over that movie. Like
absolutely.
Like,
Why is his chest
yeah.
out? Why the hell is that happening?
Like, how did Spielberg allow that to happen? Spielberg just watching, he was like, "Oh no, this is gonna work." Like he knew this is gonna work.
I mean, I think
But,
Spielberg's like, I already have this dinosaur. It looks so good. What are you doing? He's like, but Steven, the chest. And it's like he couldn't argue
He's like,
against
all
it.
right,
It's
fine.
fucking his chest hairs mesmerized him like Medusa.
He's sitting there looking at it in post production, like, he's fucking right.
All the ideas don't have to come from you, Steven. They don't have to come from you. Yeah, absolutely.
This should have had Jeff Goldblum in it. Yeah, I think this trailer also is trying to sell you on explosions.
Yeah.
Like, it's such an early 2000s thing where they're like, it's a war movie, but it's kind of awesome, right? Look how awesome
and
this
it's
war
got
is.
that early 2000s where the CGI is not quite great.
It doesn't look good. I thought that
quite
too,
good
and I was
enough.
like, am I being a
No,
dick?
you're not being a
He
dick.
might have made this. He might have made this in like 2002, and Pearl Harbor came out, and they're like, okay, we're going to sit on this for a while.
This is his Prince album.
Yeah.
Like just shoved in a vault somewhere.
bet-
We're just going to find 30 Roland Emmerich films in a vault.
I would be. I'm going to look it up, but I am betting that he made this for less than $100 million because who's going to give Roland Emmerich
No.
that kind of money?
He's not doing. He hasn't been doing great. The thrill is gone with him. He belonged at a very specific time and place.
Yeah, I mean, I'm on record as saying we don't need to go back to World War II at all. Like, we're done with it unless there's a really great story. So I'm trying to think, like, who's the studio executive that said
Some
yes to
fucking
this?
boomer.
Well, the one who
Yeah.
doesn't agree with you, isn't smart enough to realize that, and it's just like, more World
Same
War
reason,
II.
like Mel Gibson.
People love the
cranking
Nazis.
out Hacksaw Ridge and like.
Sure.
It's some executive that went on Twitter to like, oh, Nazis is trending a lot, so we should
You know
just
where the
do
Nazis
more
happened.
from that.
Yeah.
Yeah.
What was that war from again?
Yeah.
The budget was exactly $100 million.
Yep.
Wow, you guessed it exactly right.
Yeah.
Kind of.
That's his magic number.
Yeah, I think you're right.
Emmerich is kind of he's a 100 million type of director.
At least
It's a lot of fucking money.
it's
too
a
much
whole
money.
lot of
Yeah.
money. At
way
least
too much
he and
money.
his
You'd think
producing
that-
partner, Dean Devlin, at least they had the foresight to. You remember when they were going to film like 2 Independence Days back to back?
They should
And they were
have.
like, you know what? We're just going to do the one and see if people actually like it.
I know. The problem. All right, here's the problem with that: is they made the one, and I was like, yes, more, and then there wasn't more, and there never will
No,
be.
there will never be more.
And that's a shame. They should have done 2 back to back.
I just can't understand what 2 would have been. Like, I can't figure that out.
2. Oh, they ended in a way that you can. Have you watched
The new. I
Resurgence?
didn't watch the new one. I only watched the original.
There's a little bit of a cliffhanger there.
Okay, fair
They continue it. It goes steadily off the rails throughout.
Okay.
It ends with
I
I
think-
think Tyrannosaurus-sized alien chasing Judd Hirsch in a school bus.
Would you believe that that's how it ends? Because that's how it ends.
I would.
It's more like a Godzilla
Right, it's
size.
an
It's
enormous-
a giant alien.
Yeah.
Because that,
Judd Hirsch
that
in a
fucking-
school bus in the middle of the desert.
That Grinchian grin that was spreading across your jowls while you were
Well,
describing it to me was
it's
like, well, I know what this is going to be.
It's incredible
Nightmarish.
because, like, who would you think would feature in the climactic action sequence
Judd Hirsch.
of Independence Day 2? Judd Hirsch.
82-year-old Judd Hirsch.
Right. Because he was there the first time. That's really the only criteria.
Yeah.
Yeah. What are you going to do?
All right, we should probably move to the next trailer.
Maybe we should. Okay,
Maybe.
this movie looks awesome to me.
Guys, this is the current war.
I thought this movie looked awesome. Am I crazy?
Well,
I thought it looked really great.
it's a-
I'm
it's a
watching
movie,
the shit
like-
out of it, yeah.
Man, we've been talking about this for years.
Yes, we've been talking about this subject
Right,
for years.
and-
on
Well,
In That
this
Crack.
was also delayed,
Oh,
this
okay.
movie.
Yeah, as I remember, like in
for-
various
Yeah, this has been around for a while.
podcasts and writers' rooms and stuff for years now, we've all been like, why the fuck isn't there a movie about Edison and Tesla? And here it is.
Yeah, with Michael Shannon.
Yeah.
With a
Solid
with a
Michael
mustache.
Shannon mustache.
Yeah. There's a
Yeah.
line in this I have to point out. The it's not current, it's currency line. Which is some fucking screenwriter was like, oh fuck yeah. Just love that shit.
Plaster my body in bills right now.
Yeah.
Yeah. I agree that it was very liney. I agree with that. I'm a little bit disappointed with the casting for Tesla here.
Nicholas Hoult.
I just think he's kind of bland for this.
I think they went for someone who I don't know. I think the problem with Tesla is maybe, and I'm no Tesla historian,
Me
but
neither.
maybe Tesla was kind of like a meeker guy, like
Yeah.
Nicholas Hoult. Like maybe they're casting it because they're like, this is actually more like Tesla, as opposed to like casting David Bowie, where it's like, okay, well that's
Yeah, but
I mean,
so-
that's
but
awesome
This is
casting,
supposed to be
but-
like a hype showdown version of history, right?
right. Well, Michael Shannon seems to be like the guy on the other. Like at first, when I first saw it, I was like, oh, who's Michael Shannon? He's
George
just like some
Westinghouse.
guy.
He's some guy
Yeah,
making
some
the
guy.
movie
Yeah.
sing. He's making
Yeah.
it hum already, just
Right.
showing up with that
That
mustache.
voice.
Oh yeah, I'm
voice.
glad he's there.
Yeah. Yeah.
But they don't feature Tesla that much in this. Yeah.
I thought this. Yeah, I don't know what. I don't know if it was because this is the first time a trailer's worked on me like all the way through in a long time, or maybe because I know the subject. I was just like, this is a movie we've
know.
needed for so long,
Yeah.
and I'm really
I
excited
hope-
about it.
Yeah.
Because they don't. I mean, they must go into it in the movie if it's going to have any kind of credibility. But I really hope this movie does showcase what a fucking scumbag Thomas Edison was.
Right. I better see at least one elephant get electrocuted here.
Well, yeah, that's why you would think that Michael Shannon would be the cast for Edison,
Right,
And
but
Cumberbatch would be
Cumberbatch.
Tesla,
I do
yeah,
like
but,
Cumberbatch for that.
Yeah, I don't know.
Yeah, I think when I first heard this was getting made and I knew Benedict Cumberbatch was in it, I was like, oh, that's Tesla, clearly. But I kind of like this because he can play an asshole.
He sure can.
Very well.
Why couldn't we gotten John Hawke? Why
Yeah.
couldn't we have like summoned John Hawkes to play Tesla?
Yeah.
You know what I mean? He would have added some silent darkness to that.
Yeah.
I would have enjoyed it.
That
You
would
know,
have been
he'd
a
have
good
brooded
Tesla,
that
yeah.
fucking shit. Ooh.
Well, someone who's like, I don't know. I think the point is, I think it's very clear from this that it is going to be Edison is a monster in this because of just the casting. And that's great. I want to make sure, like, I think I'm not about to defend Edison.
Oh, I see
But
you winding up already.
Well, no, I want a version of this where he's not just a cartoony villain.
I agree. It needs
Where
to be
he's just the
complicated.
villain that he is.
Yeah.
Where it's like he's a human being
Yeah.
still.
Yeah.
Who thinks he's doing the right thing. And I hope that's what we're seeing in this.
I like that this movie has the potential to go 2 or 3 different ways that I'm excited about. One of them is just straight up caper. Like, it could be a caper-ish kind of movie, right?
Yeah.
Where they're like all subterfuging and undermining each other. Another one's just like sort of a minimal drama that's been over-trailerized. And I kind of like all of them.
Right.
I like all those ideas.
I really want this to exist in the Prestige cinematic universe.
Sure.
And for him to like clone a hat in
Sure.
it, or like for Hugh Jackman to show up for one scene.
Yeah.
And it's like everybody's really excited about it.
Just to be carried there in a water tank.
Yeah.
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 I mean, why not?
It takes so little to make you happy. That's one of the best things about you. You're just like, I'd be happy if they did it.
We know who's making this?
I didn't look.
Okay.
I did not look. I was very impressed with it, though.
Yeah, I sort of agree with you. I'm excited for this shit. This is the kind of shit I enjoy. Yeah.
This really pumps you up.
Yeah.
Yeah.
This next trailer really pumps me
I
up,
knew you were
though.
excited about it. I could sense it. Just as I was watching, I was like, here we go. This one's called The Good Liar.
Yes, starring Ian McKellen and Helen Mirren.
Yep.
It's like a talented Mr. Ripley thriller where Ian
It is?
McKellen is the fucking villain, like the sexy villain.
Right.
Who's
and you
like
want it
fucking
to be
his way to the
explicit.
top.
Yeah, you want it to be explicit.
Yeah, he's
It's
Yeah.
he's
about
laying a honeypot trap for Helen Mirren because she's worth 3 million
Yeah.
pounds.
it's seriously what the film is, and I'm so fucking excited for that.
God, I wish we still used honeypots.
Yeah.
Just this is where I keep my honey in this pot.
Nobody needs that much honey anymore. That's the
No,
problem.
nobody ever needed that much honey.
Yeah.
Just want to slather it on your.
I think when you're cooking with honey more, like when there wasn't like everything wasn't filled with sugar.
Yeah, when you were
needed
eating
honey more.
cornbread by the fillet.
Yeah, and then
Sure.
you're dipping everything in honey because you just want to taste something.
Yeah.
You want to feel
Anything,
alive
anything
for a
at all,
second.
please.
This butter is barely not milk. For God's sakes, honey it up.
Garnish my meals with
God.
metal shavings just so I can feel something in my tongue.
I don't mind the cuts in my tum-tum. I think this movie looks like it could be great or it could be really boring, honestly.
Yeah, it just has that. He throws someone in a train in front of a train.
Sure. That was
And it's
exciting.
like it's great to see because the last time I got to see Ian McKellen be really, really evil, not like Magneto evil, was fucking that pupil, and that movie is hard to
Holy
watch
shit,
now.
was he good in that movie?
He's
Yeah,
so
it is
good
hard,
in
though,
it.
yeah.
He's so good in it. So it's nice to be like, okay, now I have a movie that I can watch with Ian
Right.
McKellen's being a real fucking evil bastard.
Right.
That's great because he's good at it. He's really
He's
good
a great
at
actor.
it.
I mean, well, you've seen Richard III.
He
was Richard
Yeah.
III.
Oh, yeah.
he?
It was in like
Yeah.
a modern
Yeah.
retelling of it. Not modern, but like
This is
like mid-century. Like World War II ish.
It was World War II, but it was a good version of that story.
Okay.
I thought. Anyway, this is a good outing for both of them. I'm hoping Helen Mirren gets to really go for it with this
Yeah.
part. There's a part of me it's like maybe she's also laying a trap.
I hope
Yeah,
so.
That would be great.
I wanted to end with fucking and fighting.
Yeah.
I want it to end with like him being like decapitated by like a street sign.
Yeah.
That she's like,
During a nude joust.
yeah, something where it's like it just goes completely off the rails.
Yeah.
Gets hit by a train or like a safe falls on him.
Yeah.
I love it when the ending is an Acme cartoon. Really
Yeah.
into that shit.
Yeah, I want to do the same ending as Speed. Like
Yeah.
just on top of the train.
He's punching Helen Mirren on top of a train.
I haven't thought about Talented Mr. Ripley since you said those words, and that's exactly what this is. Like
What?
that Talented Mr. Ripley.
Yeah, this is very Mr. Ripley.
Do you remember how fucking long that movie is?
Yeah, it's too long.
It's an eternity.
I watched it recently. I was just like, ooh, that's something I like.
Yeah.
I haven't watched this in a while, and then it's like, Jesus Christ.
This
okay.
thing is long as
I remember.
fuck.
Yeah.
Yeah, and it goes on, man.
Yeah.
It was that guy who died of cancer at 50, like that really talented
Really?
director. Yeah, Mignola or whatever his name was.
Hmm.
He directed
yeah.
English Patient and that, and then Cold Mountain, and then died of cancer very suddenly.
That's a shame.
Yeah, it sucked. He was a good director.
Yeah. Yeah, it's a good movie. It's just, it's long.
It's fine.
Yeah.
It's not great. Really dumb credits.
We-
Those like
I don't
opening
remember the
titles are 90s and horrifying. They're
Ooh, those are my favorite.
they're like a visual fart right in front of your eyes.
Oh,
Right to start.
nice.
Yeah. Now, speaking of visual farts right in front of your eyes,
Nice segue.
can we? I mean, it was a perfect segue for Bad Trip,
Yes.
the slice of Jackass movie. Right? I mean, that's all it is.
Yeah, it's all right. It's a prank movie. It's not a Jackass movie. They're not
It's
doing stunts. They're
Jackass.
pranking
It's like a
people.
narrative
It's Jackass.
movie with pranks. Yeah.
Is it narrative? Is there a story
It's
to it?
loose.
Yeah, it's like a yeah.
Like Eric
I did
Andre
not
and
know
Lil
that.
Rel are stealing his sister's car, who is Tiffany Haddish, to go on an adventure, and then she breaks out of jail and comes after them to get her car back. And hijinks ensue.
Oh, wait, so they never break the wall and be like, this next prank
No.
is called...
No, they
this.
I don't
integrate
think
it.
so.
Sort
Which
of like Bad
they've
Grandpa.
done. There's a few
Yeah.
Jackass movies that did it. Yeah, Bad Grandpa and
Oh.
Yeah,
the
Action
theme park
Point.
one. I'll give this credit for one thing. For most of the stunts, they don't appear to be victimizing people. Which that's what I look for in pranks, where it's like most of the pranks seem to be them humiliating themselves in front of a crowd, and we're just watching how the crowd reacts. I'm not defending this movie, but I'm what I'm getting at is that it appears to be mostly like harmless.
Just counterpoint to that, if you're surprising the shit out of a person with gun violence or stealing a cop car and they have a heart attack, that's on you, dude.
Yeah, that's the other thing is you would know more than me. Like most of these things aren't that much of a surprise for the people involved because the people
I don't
involved
know how they're doing
have to be
this.
legally. Because I remember hearing about that cash cab and the way the
Yeah.
cash cab worked
Yeah,
is
yeah.
the people who got in. They knew they were going to a game show.
Right.
They didn't know the cab was the game show, but they had already signed they thought they were going to an audition or something.
I don't think that these people are walking in not knowing they're part of a shoot
Yeah.
and not knowing that something might happen and just be yourself.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? I think that part
And I
probably
think
is true.
Yeah, I think that's the thing. I think these are like it's a weird comparison, but like wrestling is more overt in like how it works, but this is the same thing where it's
and
like
more delightful.
yeah, where it's like I don't think these people are actually that surprised.
No, they don't have a Stone Cold. in
they're
this
just
movie.
people who are playing it up. They don't have a Stone Cold. They should.
They needed a Stone Cold.
Yeah.
That's one of the big problems. With
yeah.
it.
But yeah, I don't know. That's what yeah.
I mean, I know we have to cover it because it's a trailer, and I'm not saying that. I just like what else.
I'm
is
not gonna
there?
see this.
Yeah, what else is there in
Yeah.
this genre? A story doesn't make me want to watch it more.
Yeah.
Does it make you want to watch it more?
This is why I like the first Jackass movies
Me
because they
too.
are just like we're just gonna do
Yeah.
this thing.
Yeah.
And it's all between them, and so it's like, yeah, whatever happens to you guys is fine because you're consenting and you're this
They
is
had
the
a
whole
couple.
point.
They had a couple pranks that were definitely at the public, but they were great. Like blasting a foghorn when a golfer golfs.
Right?
Yeah,
they
well,
did.
fuck you.
Yeah,
you know?
they did. I liked the one where they dressed as
Fell out of a
robbers
ceiling.
and just
Yeah.
burst through the ceiling.
Yeah,
Fell
that's
out of
great.
the ceiling.
Love it.
Yeah.
That
You
was
know?
a solid one. Yeah.
Yeah.
I don't have any.
Yeah.
I don't know. I don't mind these movies when they're not being inflicted on people.
I mean, how do you make a movie like this
I don't-
interesting?
The story, having
Honestly.
a story, is I think their effort at trying that, which I don't think it really
Yeah.
enhanced Bad Grandpa, but
I think we might be past this as a society.
Yeah, I'm having a hard time figuring out how to
Yeah.
get it to be more interesting.
Like if a new Jackass showed up, I probably also would be like, I'm probably not going to watch that.
Especially if it's the same dudes.
Yeah.
my
Oh
God,
well,
guys.
yeah. That
Oh
would
my
be
God.
that would be a real bummer.
Yeah, Jackass 2 was very concerning. It was
Yeah.
like, guys, you're like almost 40.
Yeah.
What are you doing?
But like, maybe that's just our age, though. Maybe like 20-year-olds would who hasn't seen things would be like, "Oh, this is amazing!"
Sure.
And that's probably who's going to go see this is people who are young and haven't seen Jackass and are looking at this like it's fucking new and amazing.
It's true. I mean, Jackass was just an extension of Tom Green.
Yeah,
right?
and
So,
it's all an extension of like Buster Keaton
Right.
and Looney Tunes and all
Buster
that.
Keaton, though. They're no Buster fucking Keaton.
No, but they were inspired by it. Like Knoxville
Sure.
himself was heavily inspired. But like, you know what I mean? Where it's all this is a form of comedy that watching people get hurt.
Johnny Knoxville comparing himself to anybody in the general offends old Gans's sensibility.
Mm-hmm. I don't think he compared
The
himself.
flame of offense is ignited in my soul.
I don't know.
Not
Any more
really.
thoughts on Bad Trip?
There were a couple things that I laughed
Yeah,
at. Some of those stunts look funny.
I don't.
I'll give it
They
that,
must have filmed this a while ago because I don't know how they could get away with people not recognizing the three people in this film. like I'd be out in public, be like,
Yeah.
"That's Eric Andre."
Well,
like,
Yeah. I don't know. Again, like it's probably people who signed release forms ahead of time who like knew more or less what they were getting into.
Well, and you don't know how many times they ran this prank either.
Yeah, that's
Like
true.
they might have got a couple of bad batches and just like, all right, we'll keep doing it until we get somebody who does something interesting.
Right, yeah.
We'll move on.
And yeah, a lot of people don't recognize a lot of people. I like that about Billy on the Street, where it's just fucking famous people like not getting recognized by just random people on the street.
And also the element of surprise really blanks your mind. Like people like
Oh, yeah,
that's the
that's
thing
true.
about that. It's like people are so invested in their own world they're not permitting the possibility that
Right.
that
They should get more interesting. Like I want to see Hugh Grant do one of these movies.
Oh yeah, Hugh Grant's
Oh,
Jackass.
shit.
Yeah.
Maybe Adam's on board for.
That would be amazing.
Get Ian
just a
McKellen to
bumbling
do Jackass.
Yeah.
Just like I'm terribly sorry.
Ian McKellen,
Ooh. Well, I mean, obviously, you're skipping
Well, yeah.
the most obvious one. It's Nick Cage.
Nick Cage.
That's whose Jackass you need.
Well, that would just be him. I don't know, harassing people. Like I want to see. I kind of want to see like a Nick Cage. Yeah, like a Nick Cage prank show.
Yeah.
That reminds me of and I don't know how tongue in cheek this was. How much they knew. There was a few years back. Arnold Schwarzenegger went to like a Planet Fitness or something and
Yes.
tried to be in disguise.
Yes, I
and it
remember
was
this.
like every single person he walked up to was just like, "That's Arnold Schwarzenegger in a mustache." Like,
Like, how could it not be him? Right. How could it not be him? Who the hell else looks like him?
it's a pretty
It's
delightful
carved
video.
from a German mountain.
Yeah. Because I wonder if they figured it out halfway through, like,
Right.
okay, this isn't
We
going to
can't-
work.
yeah,
We just
just
have to
let
go
them
with
do
what, just let them.
It turns out
We'll
we
tell
can't
them they're
film
surprised.
this
Right.
shard from an Austrian meteor and convince it it's anyone other than Arnold Schwarzenegger.
Yeah.
What a great description of Arnold Schwarzenegger.
It is what he is.
That should be on his tombstone.
Oh, yeah.
Shard of an Austrian meteor. Followed by his most famous movie quote.
We did it, guys.
We did it.
We got there. The next is news stories.
No more
We're out.
trailers.
We're
All right.
we're done with the trailers.
We're rounding second right now. We're
We
rounding second.
Are guys, there's a new Matrix being rumored.
Yeah.
I think it's still in rumor form. The Wachowskis are coming back, and Michael B. Jordan will be starring in it.
Let me tell you what happened. Okay, I like this idea.
Sure,
I'm
who
just be
cares?
on board with, like, why not? I'm fine with it. They butchered the last two Matrix movies. I'm okay for a fourth. Why not? So when I clicked on this link, it led me to a page that was the story, but it also was just a clip of Matrix. So I played the video thinking, oh, this is going to be a trailer for the Matrix, and it was just the scene where Keanu gets a phone delivered to him. And I was like, and it took a while to show the delivery guy, and I was like, holy shit, are they going to retcon the delivery guy? Is the delivery guy going to be Michael B. Jordan? And it's going to be a whole spin-off because of that shit? It wasn't, but I really like that idea.
Yeah, I like that
I wish they
idea.
would do it.
Well, that's all right. That's a thing we can now do. That's dumb,
Yeah.
but we should do.
Yeah.
Which is CGI actors into like previous
Of course.
scenes. Be like, yeah, they were there the whole time.
Yeah.
Now here's their story.
George Lucas was a genius in that
yeah.
way.
George Lucas was a genius.
Cody's going to murder me from space right now.
Yeah, I mean, this was bound to happen. This was going to happen.
Yeah.
It frankly, I'm surprised it didn't happen sooner.
I think they're picking the right thing. To me, it's like Michael B. Jordan's a very dependable, interesting actor.
Yeah.
He's fun. He's a great action star. And, like,
Sure.
let the Wachowskis
Nothing.
Give it
Yeah.
a shot.
I mean-
what's wrong with it?
Yeah. I think what's wrong with it is the only thing wrong with it, and I mean, this is coming from as like if I were a producer making this, is just looking
True.
at everything they've made since The Matrix is what's wrong with it, where it's like, okay, well, they're not doing so great. That said, I enjoy a lot of what they do since The Matrix.
Sure.
I really liked Sense8. I guess that's it. Oh no, Cloud Atlas. Cloud Atlas was fine.
That is an insane movie. That is a
It
that is
is.
a big
Wait,
Well,
was that the one you and I watched?
I don't know.
Was that
It's
the one with the cloud? Like
Atlas?
the guy who was like
With the cloud
guy who
atlas.
was like half demon and no. Okay,
no,
sorry.
no.
The-
We
No.
watched. We watched
Jupiter Ascending. Yeah.
Oh, that was a horrible movie.
Yeah, that was
Well,
also
like,
theirs.
That's,
Yeah.
that's
Horrible.
Kind of a boring movie.
Yeah, yeah.
And so I think it feels like a very it's the story of Lucas, where Lucas stopped doing Star Wars and he was like, I'm going to do new stuff, and then he was like, okay, that's not working. Let's do some more Star Wars.
But he did produce
Like,
good
this
movies
could-
for a while.
Yes, I'm just saying this could be their fucking Star Wars prequels. This could be because they have the same path as Lucas,
Yeah.
where they're like, okay, we did the Matrix. Now what else? A bunch of stuff that no one likes. All right, let's go back to the Matrix. And I mean, like I said, I'm rooting for them. I don't hate a lot of their choices they've made. I really enjoyed Sense8. I just can see this one crashing and burning as a
Yeah, I mean,
revival.
believe it or not, the thing that worries me the most about it is that they're gonna think the philosophy was the interesting thing. 'Cause
Yeah.
that was what they thought in the second movie, and that was wrong.
Yeah, or they're gonna be like, "This is all in Zion."
Right,
All
no,
raves.
no more of the fucking real world.
raves.
Don't ever go back to that
How
fucking real world. If you don't
dare
have to.
Yeah,
Also, but that points out the second problem I have with it, which is like, are we still gonna think this like S&M inspired leather present is cool?
I do.
I don't know, man. Like,
No,
the
I-
entire
it's
early
dated.
2000s.
It's already dated.
Yeah.
Well,
Yeah.
we talked about this actually on the last Hypecast. This is the biggest problem with the Matrix was that the mysteriousness of what the Matrix was kind of the best thing going for
Yes.
it. And then once they shed light on it, it was just like, well, I don't. It's like learning how a magic trick is done, and you're like, oh, okay.
Now I know that. Yeah.
Yeah, and it's sort of that where the mysteriousness is gone and they take it to the logical conclusions of that world, which becomes silly because it's like, oh yeah, and so it's a computer world, and they hint at all these things in the first movie, and then they have to show it all,
Which they didn't.
and then
have
do
to.
and it really should have stopped at the one movie.
Yeah, they didn't know how to make a trilogy out of it, no matter what they say.
Yeah,
The first movie was as many first movies are, scaled really well,
yeah,
and then the sequels decided to build the world out, and it was less interesting. I would argue almost every one of our sci-fi fantasy sequences that's the problem.
yeah. A movie like Cube got a bunch
Yeah.
of sequels. I
Right.
never watched them because why the fuck would you?
Right.
You know, like the whole point is that it's contained and mysterious.
Yes. Even Alien. I like Aliens too, but or Aliens, excuse me. But
Yeah.
But Alien, it's great because it's so small.
Yeah, and we've seen now the more you go into the mythology, same with Terminator, it's just the more you continue
Yes.
it.
The worse it gets.
Yeah, because and I think a lot of stories are like this. It's just like the more you keep fucking piling on, you're going to realize it's dumb.
Like, is there a chance that Michael B. Jordan is playing Morpheus, like a young Morpheus?
I don't know. Maybe.
I mean,
Or that are we just redoing it? Are we just redoing the story?
there's some great things they could do with this. Like the Animatrix is, I think, my favorite thing to come out of after the first Matrix.
Yeah, of course.
Because it does a bunch of like, they do like almost like stories of like a house that's like seemingly haunted,
Yes.
but it's in the Matrix.
Yes.
And they did some that took place like thousands of years ago. And I think that would be a period piece Matrix film would be really fun.
You know what the Animatrix is? It's what I wish they were doing with all these universes. The Star Wars universe, all of them. Just
Yeah.
like, hey, man, now you have a cool world. Now just go do a different whole story in it.
Yeah.
Like, just give it a shot.
Yeah, exactly. It's and like they could extend one of those ideas to a full movie if
Yeah,
it's interesting
Of
enough.
course. I'm trying to sell my Stormtrooper noir detective story. And
Right.
Disney needs to catch up with me here.
Come on, Disney.
Come on.
What the fuck, Disney?
Thank you for their forgiveness.
Yeah.
They are also about to nuke you from space.
Yeah. Guys, they're making we don't know actually yet. They've just licensed the Myst games to become a movie or TV show, or possibly even I don't know what. They don't know.
You get a Myst boner? Are you?
Yeah, I got a Myst boner.
Yeah.
Well, I remember in like when Myst came out
Right.
as like a whatever old I was, probably like nearing
was a while ago, yeah.
aged.
Yeah.
Yeah, I was like, I want to see a Myst movie. I think that would be really cool. And it's taken this goddamn long for it to finally happen.
Myst is really creepy in a good way.
Yeah.
And not in like it's horror, like in a plastic Stepford
Yeah.
Wisey way.
I mean, it took too long to discuss the dangers of books. Like it's really important to me that we realize this.
I don't care about Myst, but not because I think it's bad, because I just didn't get into it.
Right.
So I don't know how to respond to this.
I played the first Myst and it was kind of a burn because the revelation is that you can beat Myst
In
like
7 minutes.
Yeah.
Right? Yeah.
And then I started playing Riven and I was like, I don't know, man. But I also I think it was one of those things where I was like playing it on a friend's computer or something. I didn't have time to really like do what I did with Myst, which was I did the thing where they had a notebook and you would do notes along the way.
Yep.
And like maps and like
That's a game that made you work for it, huh?
Yeah, I think the problem with a Myst movie ultimately is it's just going to be the one guy, right? Like
I guess, unless you can explore or expand upon that world somehow.
I
But
don't think the
just-
Myst world is that contained.
Well,
It's like, what is it really?
I guess the problem is that it's the same Matrix thing. Is that once we expand on the Myst world, then it's just like a bunch of people on an island.
Yeah, it's Lost.
Like trapping people in books.
It's like Fantasy Lost.
Yeah, and I kind of want like Tom Hanks' Castaway, but Myst Island, like a guy trying to survive on Myst Island
And Brad Dourif
finding
just
these
really
like
rational.
yeah, and like finding like all these weird puzzles and artifacts and like trying to figure out what the fuck is going on.
Sure.
Like I think that would actually be cool if it was done well.
Like
kinda-
but essentially like a less adventure-y version of Jumanji.
Yeah, just like
This most recent Jumanji
Yeah.
movie.
like a quiet, laid back
Like a
Jumanji.
creepy- Like a creepy jerks version of Jumanji.
Yeah. Like an Indiana Jones for like really old people who just need a quiet place to sit for a couple of hours.
There's a lot of sitting in it.
Intensely boring
Yeah.
movie.
Yeah. Just a lot
Just-
of looking at books.
Dull as hell.
Yeah.
Just a man reading a book for 2 hours.
Yep.
And you watch it.
Yeah,
You watch
just-
him read it.
I want them. Oh God.
You don't get to read it.
I
You
want
just
them
watch
to
it.
do. I want them to just do the full experience where he's like goes up to the keyboard puzzle and he's like pressing it. And he's like, "Fuck!" And then like they show like long shot of him slowly walking back to the library and going back in like, "Oh motherfucker!" Going through, taking out another, like being like, "I don't know why I can't bring this book with me. I guess I have to write it down on this separate fucking piece of paper." All right, and then slowly walking back and then doing the keyboard and being like, "Fuck!"
Missed.
Is something supposed to happen? What's supposed to happen? I think I heard a click. What the fuck is this? And then walking slowly back to the library. I want all of that.
Missed, the movie, the grinding.
Yeah.
Oh boy.
Yeah. I don't hate this. I'm like, why not? Mist isn't precious.
No, it's
I have,
not.
I have nothing invested in it.
I started playing Abduction, which I need to get back to. It's the same people making. It's like a newer Myst type puzzle
I need
game.
to check one of those out because
It's
they
pretty
do sound
good.
cool. Yeah,
Yeah.
they sound fun.
Yeah.
You know, and I need to quit Destiny 2 before I'm just in that game.
Right.
Yeah.
Oh no, man! There's a whole other expansion coming out.
I know. What am I gonna do?
Play more Destiny, I guess.
It's on the moon, Tom. I gotta go to the moon.
Ooh.
Of course, Dave.
I want to
see?
go back to the moon.
I said the moon, and it sounds fucking great,
The moon
doesn't
sounds
it?
delightful.
we haven't been to the moon since the first game.
And the moon's mostly still the moon.
Are there
It's not like retrofitted like a lot
Okay,
of these
there's
other
no
planets
casinos or anything. It's not Pluto Nash.
bro. It's not Pluto Nash, which takes place in an alternate future.
Yes.
Which we should do a podcast about
Yeah.
that.
Yeah.
Anyway, no, I can move on. I don't need to do this bit anymore.
All right, fair enough. Well, I guess our next story is everybody's really up in arms about this. The Office is being pulled from Netflix in like 3 years.
In 2020.
Yeah.
In 2020, yeah. So next year.
I'm just gonna say it. I don't understand the rewatching of The Office.
Oh, dude, people fucking love that show.
I don't
love The
understand that
They
loop.
love that show.
Well, I liked The Office, but I never finished it because it went so off the rails.
I thought it was boring by the end.
I have the same with Friends, where I've never really liked Friends, and
love
everybody's like,
Friends.
"Oh, Friends." Yeah, see, it
love
just
it.
never did anything for me.
The thing I don't begrudge people watching anything. It's like whatever. I
Yeah,
watch
yeah,
garbage
yeah.
all the
No,
time.
I'm saying I don't
all the
get
time.
it.
But the thing that struck me was I saw so many tweets and like reactions on social media like saying that The Office should remain available to everyone, and I'm like, you're paying. Do you forget that you're paying for it on Netflix? Like,
You're not talking about water access.
right, it's not
Right.
public schools.
right?
It's a television
not-
show.
Right? It's not in Carta.
Yeah,
Like, it's The Office, and you're already paying for it.
that's
You're
silly.
just gonna have to pay a different person for
Yeah,
it.
this is
So you guys got latched on to the thing that I thought was the least interesting about this. The most interesting thing is the amount of money they're paying.
I know it's
Oh,
ridiculous.
yeah. No, they're paying-
$500 million
Yeah.
for an already finished television show.
for something they already own, like it's NPC.
It's literally, they could hand them a hard drive.
Yeah.
Like, you got it.
Yeah.
Here it is. That's crazy.
Well,
Also,
I mean,
it
Netflix
led-
shelled out a bunch of money for it, so I
Well-
assume they have to buy him out of some kind of contract.
they lost
Yeah.
an auction is what happened. So
Yeah.
there's an auction for the rights to it, and NBC outbid them by $100 million,
Right.
which means Netflix was willing to pay another $400 million to keep it on Netflix.
It makes sense though. I think this was always the case with reruns of TV shows, right?
I don't think they were
Like
making this. kind
not
of money.
this much, but I mean, like that was always a thing where it's like getting like The Simpsons on FX and stuff like that.
By always, we mean in the last 10 years. Yes.
Well, I think it was always like before streaming TV like channels would want to.
Well, it was
Get the
different
rights
because
to-
you don't get the rights. You would buy syndication rights, meaning you would
Right.
Right.
You're paying
Yeah.
way less for that.
That's
Yeah.
true.
like,
I remember a
like
story.
Seinfeld was on 8 channels.
Yeah.
Right. Yeah.
Like the year after it finished.
I
you know?
remember there was a story about it was some shit. I don't remember the channel. It was some channel no one's ever heard of.
Sure.
Paying a lot of money for the Cosby Show right
Oh, yeah.
before it became a very
Toxic property.
toxic property. And it's like Jesus.
What a shitty year for that
It was
guy.
And
it was like Nick at Night, or like it was Nickelodeon. It was like TV Land, I think.
Yeah,
Had just
That's
paid
another
a shitload
thing.
of money for the Cosby Show.
yeah. This is another thing about this Office purchase that no one thinks about. I don't think because of streaming. I don't think actors get residuals for this.
I think that's one of the reasons why we're talking about having a strike soon.
Yes.
Is over that issue.
Oh yeah,
which
streaming,
they're gonna get it.
I wrote for Cody about this, like the about Disney, but the streaming situation is fucked up.
Well, we're
like
gonna
right
fix
now,
it.
NBCU now it's starting its own streaming, and they used to co-own I think Hulu with Disney, which they don't anymore.
Right.
So they're gonna pull all their shit off of Hulu as well. Hulu's gonna be this like people like Hulu because it's like I can watch things from multiple channels. That's not gonna be the case soon. That's going to just be Disney putting all their like Miramax films.
Yeah.
This
into
is why
place.
when there's a strike from actors and from directors about getting more money from streaming, like even though our instinct is like those guys make plenty of money, we should be in support of them.
Yes.
Because what'll happen is if the studios have to shell out more money in residuals, they're going to charge more money for their ads.
Right.
And if the ads have to pay more money, suddenly you'll see more content that can be made for a budget on
Right.
the internet.
Also,
That's important.
yeah. Also, they don't want more money. They want the money they
They want
used
the
to
right
get.
money, yes.
Yeah.
It's the same.
That's the thing.
It's the same issue, and it's not been resolved. But it's the same issue that like musicians have been battling for years and years now.
Yep.
Oh yeah.
Because
the music industry is getting
and
better,
Apple Music pays you dick.
Yeah. There's also with streaming there's now that thing where like there's a good article about this about how Hollywood's losing its middle class is how they put it, which is that
Isn't
you're either
everything-
making indie films or you're such a big showrunner name that they can pay you millions of dollars to do something for Netflix.
Yeah,
But there's
so-
in between there's very like these Netflix and Amazon and stuff, they used to go to Sundance and like hunt indie stuff.
Right.
They don't do that anymore because they're
Right.
like, well, we're making it ourselves.
Right.
So an indie filmmaker, you either have to like kind of like get in bed with the streaming companies, or you're not going to make much off of your movie anymore.
Did you see how much money J.J. Abrams might get in a deal with Netflix?
Right, and
Did you see what the number was?
no,
Take a guess what you think
it's
it
going to be
is.
depressing. It's going to be like
Guess.
Half a billion.
That is correct.
Boom.
$500 million fucking dollars.
He has
That's
failed
so much money.
He has failed up so much. Like I don't
not a
hate
failure. He's a good filmmaker.
No, he's a good filmmaker, but I don't think he's 100 or 500 million good. And I think
nobody.
I don't think any.
I
I
don't
don't
pay
think.
Steven Spielberg that.
Yeah,
That's true.
no single
No, I pay
creator
Spielberg
is worth that.
yeah, that's true.
I mean, Pablo Picasso's not worth that kind of money.
Plus, he's dead. You're not getting anything out of him.
You're not getting anything out of that.
That's
corpse.
a waste of $500 million. Why would you give it to
Try
Picasso?
to make that guy.
Would you? Okay, if you were really rich, would you buy like his skull for 500 million?
If I had $500 million to burn and his skull was up, I'd consider
Yeah.
it.
Okay, how much
would
do you think his
debate
skull
it.
is worth?
What's his skull worth? Bear in mind, I'm framing it in crystal between two paintings of his. At least $300 million.
Okay,
Yeah.
yeah, that's fair. So you'd go as high as 500 if it was in an auction.
It depends on who I'm debating. Is it some guy I hate? Probably, right?
Yeah,
You got
I
to
think
factor in
so.
the hate bit.
Yeah.
Rich people don't like each other.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Because then it's just pride money.
yeah. Then you just want it, and you're gonna piss in
Yeah.
that skull.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah. Take pictures of your dick in that skull and send it to him. Be like, this is what I did with the skull. Picasso's skull.
And it's rich gentleman rules where he has to look at it and be mad, but do nothing with that information.
Right. I also like to imagine that they're the great ancestor of Picasso, and it meant a lot to them
Sure.
to have it.
Yeah.
And you're pissing in Grandpa's
Yeah.
skull.
And all you can do is
Yeah.
pour
Monster.
yourself a brandy and stare into a fireplace. It's gentlemen's rules.
At least 1 hour. God, if only I had that skull.
So yeah, The Office.
Yeah.
The
Office is
It's fine.
Uh,
I do whenever I rewatch parts from it. It's funny.
it's kind of, to me, it's kind of like the last comedy show that everybody was watching all at once.
Yeah.
We don't really have that right now.
I gave up. I think right when Michael left, I was just like, well, all right.
Yeah, of course. Like,
Yeah.
right when it started to be bad. Yeah, of course.
Yeah.
Like after season 8 or whatever.
Yeah, and it was already too long.
5 seasons to me is like, once you go past that, you better have a good reason.
You better be a cartoon at least. Even a cartoon, it's like, okay. But like, there's certain cartoons that I'll watch the shit out of way into. Like The Simpsons is one that, I mean, the later seasons aren't great, but it's
Right.
still like, yeah, whatever.
Seinfeld was good till after season 6, and then it
Yeah.
stopped being good.
Yeah, I don't
Yeah.
remember it that much after that.
Yeah.
What are we up to? What's the next news story? Oh, jeez. Someone was
Here we go.
arrested on the set of the new Bond for putting cameras in the women's restrooms.
Maybe we should make Bond movies.
What is happening on this
Set
movie?
is fucking cursed. Yeah. There's been multiple injuries. There's been like reports that the director's a maniac, but I don't think he is.
No, the report is that he played video games for a couple hours while everybody waited.
Oh, who gives a shit then?
That's the issue.
Let the man play
Yes,
video
it's
games.
Fukunaga,
Yeah, he's
man.
playing PS4.
Yeah, you gotta finish your levels.
I mean, yeah. So the outrage on that is a little bit like, I don't know. If he was doing it every day, sure. He does it
Right.
once because he's on a Bond movie.
If
which is
he
a
was
hellscape.
even doing it, like I don't know how
he might
that
not
could have been
even.
some grip who heard it from some other grip who heard it from someone else who told
Yes.
it to the fucking paper.
Yes.
Um,
They had an explosion that didn't go well that injured somebody and burned some
Yeah.
stage stuff.
yeah, Daniel
broke
Craig
his
got
ankle.
hurt. I don't think. Yeah, I don't
Yeah.
think the heart, like his heart isn't in it. Daniel Craig, he's doing
No,
this
he
for
doesn't want to
money.
do this. Yeah.
Um,
He's also
Yeah.
51. How
Yeah.
old do you want to be to do these action
yeah,
movies?
they're like, come on, you're like Tom Cruise, and he's like, I don't want to be like Tom Cruise.
I'm kind of not. I don't want
I
to
want to do
that.
Layer Cake 2.
Yeah.
I don't need
Which
money
would be-
anymore, and I did this, you know?
Yeah,
And these movies are getting less cool by the second.
yeah.
They really are.
Yeah. I
They're-
can't imagine why I would want to watch it.
I didn't watch the last one. I don't care.
The last one they tried to make him more woke, which I kind of appreciated because they kind of need to do that. Like
Yeah.
woke in a general sense too, where he's like at one point he's like, I drink too much. Like he's recognized
Sure.
his alcoholism.
Why don't they
And
just
it was
set
like,
it-
oh, good job.
Why don't they
Cheers,
just
bro.
set it in the 60s and do Mad Men version of Bond?
Yeah, where it's like, can you believe these fucking people?
Like
yeah.
then you can really do the woke stuff and make him still be James Bond,
yeah.
right? Who would hate that? I'd be fine with it.
Yeah, I think the answer is to just
Not do it.
yeah, or to reimagine. I don't know. This is exhausting because Bond is one where it's like trying to figure out how to make it work after the 20th film.
We didn't need this many of them.
No.
I mean, people still watch them, so I guess somebody wants it.
Yeah, but I don't. Was it ever that good? Was it just like
Sometimes, yeah,
Well,
occasionally.
was it that? It's that. It's the because I think it's the thing where we talk about sequel fatigue and we talk about the idea of like oh, we're gonna get sick of this. With like when they made Spider-Man 3 and then they made the Amazing Spider-Man, so it was like, come on guys, give it up, this is hopeless. And then they do the Tom Holland one and everybody's like, oh, this is great. And it's like a sequel fatigue is only as good as like
the last movie.
Yeah, exactly. And that's what it is some genius will come along and bring a new Bond and we'll be like, oh, that's amazing. And then 5 films after that we'll be like, come on already, this is bullshit.
In principle, I think everybody's opposed to sequels. But the reality is that, like the movie business, we do like to know what we're going to get.
Yeah.
You know? And, I mean, James Bond is the original sequel offender.
Yeah, James Bond it's tradition that there's
yeah, but
sequels.
It's like, it's not baseball. It's not like woven into the American fabric. It's like, why are we still hanging on to this?
Mm-hmm.
You know?
Because this is what we do. Because we know they knew they could get away with making this many goddamn. And I think this is going to happen a lot now. The Fast and the Furious. Do you think we're going to get 20 of those? Because I think we might get 20 of those.
I don't hate that either. To me, Fast and Furious is exactly the same genre.
But it'll be the thing where in 20 years people will be like, oh, why are they doing this? It's so problematic. Like now that we've learned that like cars are sentient and feel pain, like we can't do these movies anymore.
Yeah, right when they made movie 9, when they started fucking the cars.
Yeah,
like, come on, guys.
We were like, all right,
yeah,
it's getting weird.
Like a car,
maybe don't do that.
Gives birth to a car that has like Vin Diesel's face.
Ooh,
yeah. I think that to answer your question, what's going on the set? It's that nobody loves this movie, and it's difficult to make a movie of this scale, so there's monsters there.
Yeah, it
That's
also feels.
happening.
I was gonna say it's also kind of the Trump administration of sets where there's lots of leaks because no one has loyalty. Where it's like people who are like, I don't give a fuck. If I'm just waiting to write a book about this. Like it's. I feel like it's that too. Is no one on set cares.
Is it
so
also a British crew? Like, can you imagine being on a more cynical crew than like a bunch of people who are making an American movie?
Right.
You know, like...
Well, it's the making of Aliens. You ever read about that?
I did not.
Oh, because it's James Cameron being James Cameron.
Yeah, sure.
And it's all British crew because it's Alien. And they were so chill and he fucking hated it. In the making of the DVD, there's a description of a part where they're trying to get a shot. And this is, I think, James Cameron describing it, so it might be exaggerated. But then at one point, just everything stops and a door to the studio swings open and all this light comes through. James Cameron's like, what the fuck is happening? And an old lady comes in with a tea cart and then everybody's like, oh, it's time for tea. It's tea.
And he's like, give me my anger trident.
What the fuck is happening? It's the most British thing to interrupt. Yeah. Yeah, because he couldn't handle they're just like, look, we're not going to be your little fucking abyss crew where we drown ourselves for your movie. We're working.
Right.
We're doing a job here.
We're just asking for 5 minutes of tea and
we're going
crumpets.
to take a fucking break. Yeah.
Give us a
As
cracker
mandated by our government, we must have a tea break.
Yeah. He just went and sulked in the seaweed for an hour.
Yeah.
You know, just buried himself in a plastic bag under the water.
Covered himself in sand.
Like a little crab. A sad little crab.
Let it crawl on him.
Yeah.
Yeah. Nobody loves me but you, Mr. Crab. Anyway.
Paul Rudd is joining the new Ghostbusters.
Don't care. No more Ghostbusters.
Yeah. Okay, should we move on?
Yep. I mean, not like I don't want you to talk about it if you want to talk about it.
I mean, that's kind of my feeling, too.
That's a franchise that doesn't need more sequels.
It's not a franchise.
Well, that's the thing. It isn't the franchise, exactly.
Yeah.
It really isn't.
They really, like, what are we going to make, like, 6 Stripes movies?
Right.
Like, what is going on here?
Like, is Days of Thunder 2, like, whipping around the track at us next summer?
Yeah.
I don't need that, you know?
It was a comedy that got like a kid's cartoon, and the kid's cartoon was all right.
Yeah, I didn't like
and a sequel that
much.
people didn't really like. I liked it because I was a fucking dumb little kid, and I still like it because I enjoy it, and it's got good people in it. But like even that sequel is from all accounts was pushing it. You know,
when you go back and watch the original Ghostbusters, do you think what a great film?
I mean, I don't know. I love that film. It's hard because that's like looking. That film is like. It's like seeing the faces of my family, where it's like this is my whole life. I literally was my mom brought me to that film when I was a baby.
I literally was a ghost.
No, yeah. No. I that film was out June 1984. I was born July 1984. That movie has just been with me my whole life.
Sure. So I understand that. So you can't go back.
I can tell. I know that it's problematic now. You know, like I recognize the problems with it and stuff like that. But it's just it's hard to judge that movie at this point.
But there are movies that I feel like they really hold up. Like they're just good and they're fun to watch. Like Back to the Future is also has its problems.
Yeah,
but it's still a good movie. Like Indiana Jones, the first one, Raiders of the Lost Ark. That's a good movie still. But then movies like Ghostbusters, they're just not that good. Maybe I'm crazy.
I disagree, but
okay, fair enough. I don't want to.
I don't know. I enjoy Ghostbusters a lot.
I like Bill Murray in it a lot.
Yeah, it's not like it's a comedy, so it's not
fine,
shot in a particularly artful way or anything like that. But it's got that great 80s look where everything is a matte painting and everything's kind of beautiful.
I like that. It's not that funny either.
I find it.
I know.
Funny.
Maybe I'm just terrible. Okay, sorry.
Yeah.
Maybe it just doesn't do it for me. Just doesn't hit me in the nostalgia.
I think this is just your hot take you're trying to hit us with.
No, I'm really not. I really, like, when I go back and watch it, I'm like, I just don't think this movie's that good. But maybe I'm crazy. Sorry, Dave. Dave's really bummed out. I really sunk his ship here.
I mean, I get it. Again, it's there's a certain thing with Bill Murray where I'm sure he's... What?
You're like my parents when they found out I'd smoked cigarettes at 13. They're like, I still love you. But...
Yeah, I'm going to make you eat all of Ghostbusters.
Yep.
Now you smoke it. I'll smoke it, Ghostbusters. I'm going to make you do something, a lot of something to Ghostbusters. That's what
I think we know where that's going to land.
Mm-hmm. Oh, this is a news story. I didn't see this story. Sony is making a Final Fantasy live-action TV series.
Sure is.
Yeah.
Tom, do you have feelings on that? I assume you put it in here.
I did put it in there. I don't know. I might watch it. It's being developed by the same team that's developing the Witcher series for Netflix. It's not clear whether
that has promise to me.
The
Witcher has promise. Yeah,
it does. Yeah, I'm definitely going to watch The Witcher.
Can I tell you guys something?
Yeah.
I don't know anything about Final Fantasy or The Witcher. I've never played them.
That's okay. Yeah.
Okay.
That's okay. I think that The Witcher has a universe.
Yeah.
Final Fantasy is literally everything you can imagine, except for the one thing it isn't is normal haircuts.
It's a role.
That's the only thing it
game,
isn't.
Right?
It is.
But it takes place across any pantheon of fantasy timeline you can imagine.
Mm-hmm.
It has guns. It has swords. It has magic.
Does it have the same characters? Does it have a plot that goes through?
Sometimes.
Not one plot. Yeah.
Each game is essentially like a new story in a new universe in a new time.
Why are people playing it?
Because they like
I
the
think
games.
it's tradition at this point.
That's a weird question.
Okay. No, I mean, I every time I've seen someone play Final Fantasy, I've had that question where I was like, "What are you doing? Like, what do you do in the game? Do you fight people?"
I'm playing.
It's a role-playing
basically
game,
it's a strategy real-time game.
You do quests
Okay.
and you fight monsters and you get XP and you have a story
level up.
told to you.
I saw one where I saw one where they were like driving on the highway and it was like it looked like
Yes.
GTA.
That's the most
Final
recent
Fantasy
one.
15.
Yeah.
Was that good? Because
I
that
played it
looked
for a couple
good.
hours. It was okay.
Was that still role playing?
Yes.
Like would it
Yes.
freeze when you're about to fight someone? And
No.
like,
So that's the thing they got rid of. Like they don't do the real-time
Turn-
like, you
turn-based
pick this and they
combat.
do this. Yeah, turn-based. That's what I'm looking for.
Mhm.
Yeah, I'm playing Final Fantasy VII right now, which is sort of a lot of people think one of the best ones, and I'm trying to figure out why people think that because I don't get it. Like
Okay.
I would have, I think.
I have another question then.
Yeah, hit it.
If it's not the turn-based, what is it?
It's turn-based in the sense that you're still activating combat loops, but it's not turn-based in that you wait, they attack you, then you attack them. It's not like that. It's more action-oriented, so you're
So just a
constantly
game,
executing attacks.
just like just Assassin's Creed, or
But it's not like because you're still simulating attacks. Like I push A and I do a giant punch kick combo, and that's the move.
that's Assassin's Creed.
In Assassin's Creed, you have to physically do more things to make it
Right.
do that.
I
It's
guess
a little
then,
removed.
Okay, I guess this was always my issue with these games is I don't get that sounds like a version of Assassin's Creed but takes longer and is like worse.
It's also not historical, which is the only thing about Assassin's Creed that's fun.
I mean, yeah, there's a lot of things to say about Assassin's Creed. You know what I mean with that fighting style,
Yes, I
where
do.
it's like
Yes.
where you just press buttons and you punch and kick and you fight. And I never got, like, I had the same with Fallout, where when I tried to play it, it just, like, froze everything. And I was like, now, where do you want to shoot them? And it's like, just let me aim. I'll tell you where I want to shoot them.
That's specifically the VAT. That's one part of the game. You can point your
I
gun and shoot
I know there's
people in
more to it.
I really enjoy how you've absconded with this segment to talk about why you don't like role-playing games.
No, I'm not.
Though you're
sorry, I'm trying to. What I'm trying to say is I legitimately don't understand them.
Why don't you try playing one?
I've tried.
That might help you.
All right, I'll try to play that new the last Final Fantasy.
I'm telling you're not going to like it.
Well, anyway, the series. Is,
no, I don't want to.
Series
I'm not trying to shit on
the
you.
series is going to be based on Final Fantasy 14, which is the MMO.
But
Okay.
in your opinion, okay, so at least it's one specific place.
Yeah.
Great. So like, is there anything about this that hypes you up? Like, are you like, oh yeah, that'll be cool?
I'm not a huge Final Fantasy. Like, I played 14.
I did too, briefly.
I'm not a huge Final Fantasy fan, but I might watch
liked it.
I don't know.
More than Dave. Yeah. I liked it a little more than Dave.
I did have a pretty
really
fantastic mount that was just a great big fat chocobo, and you lead him around by dangling a piece of cake in front of his face.
I mean, but you wouldn't want to watch a show with that shit in it.
I would watch The Adventures of Fat Chocobo. Yes, I sure would.
I did pick the wrong audience to pour my contempt in front of. I did. I'm sorry about that. No, I just, you know what? I don't want to be a shitty guy about anime-based things, which is kind of what this is.
Well,
but I don't get this property.
I don't know. I think it's kind of like making a general Dungeons and Dragons show where it's just like, well, this could be anything.
Didn't they Spirits Within?
Yes.
Yeah, so they'll just make it. It'll be a story. I guess that's what I don't get about how everyone's different every time.
Right.
Because I'm just like, why not just name it something different if you're making an entirely new story?
There's some similarities, like in technologies and certain creatures and types, and some of them do take place in like concurrent timelines.
So it's in like the same. Okay.
They're on the
so
same
it's like in the same world,
basically.
Okay,
are they?
Sort of like different timelines, though. It's
same
It's
multiverse.
a whole,
Right.
it's a whole thing.
It makes me mad because it's like the like we don't like, because if the only thing that makes it similar is that it's the same person creating it, then like how irritating would it be if Spielberg did that with his films? Like every film was called Spielberg E.T. under it, where it's like, if that's the only similarity, then why are you just name it something else? But if it takes place in the same universe, I get it.
But then the opposite point of view on this has to be stated, which is then there's the Hideo Kojima verse, where he's tried painstakingly across dozens of games to create one narrative in one universe.
That's batshit.
And it's insane.
Yeah.
Right. But it doesn't make me as mad. And it doesn't make you as mad either. You seem to be okay.
No, that makes me more. I Metal Gear makes me very mad.
Oh, you're mad about that?
Yeah, I don't like any of those games. I don't like the way they feel like I'm watching the creator jerk off, and I have to sit and watch it.
You don't like it, huh?
No, where it's like,
check
out this hour-long sequence when you're crawling through a fucking hospital.
Yeah,
and it's like
the worst thing.
Well,
of course.
But that's the thing, is the problem with sequences like that is that it's like
they suck.
Well, they better have good story.
Right.
And they don't.
Right. Well,
so it's when he does stuff like that, where he's just like, look at this cool monster I created, and look at this, and it's so like, oh, look at how cool this is. You're gonna stop and watch it, you're gonna go at my pace as the creator, and it's like, it's not fun. It's not what I like. Then it's just like, I got halfway through the last one.
I don't mind repeating this bit because it infuriates me every time. The fact that he insists on us calling the final boss Sahelanthropus. That's the fucking name of the Metal Gear, is the Sahelanthropus, which he says more than once. Is like, I kind of love him for it, and I kind of hate his ass for it.
Yeah.
Anyway, I think those are basically the same things, but on opposite end of the spectrum.
Yeah, I guess. I guess what I'm describing, I have the same with Tarantino, where it's like, sometimes I just feel like I'm watching him. Like, I'm watching him be like, check me out, I'm Tarantino, look at what I did.
Yeah.
And it's like, I'm totally out of this story. And
watch me bust cool kickflips, bro.
Yeah.
All right. Yeah, he is making the skate video equivalent of cinema.
Yeah.
That isn't actually a skate video. That is accurate.
Let's move on.
Okay.
I mean,
Dave, do you have a movie that deserves more hype?
Tom, I have 2 movies that deserve more hype.
Shit.
Yep.
I love this already. I watched these and it's like, here we go.
First one is called Itsy Bitsy. You guys, can you guess what it's about? It's coming out this August. It is got Denise Crosby in it, Tasha Yar from Next
Tasha Yar,
Generation.
Sure.
It is about a big ass, not big ass, like a terrier size, not even terrier, like a Chihuahua size spider.
No, it's bigger than that.
It's like that. It's like a big. It's
Well,
like a
and for the podcast,
platter.
this
It's like platter
audience-
size.
Yeah, platter.
It's like a
size.
turkey.
Like you had to,
Yeah, turkey
Yeah,
revise
turkey
that.
size.
Big ass, not big ass. Terrier size, not terrier
Yeah.
size.
Well, I'm happy about this because I don't think a giant spider is as creepy as one that can
I agree.
hide.
Yes, I agree. It needs to be able to hide. It's a gremlin sized. It's a gremlin sized spider.
Yeah, and we like for spider movies. I think Arachnophobia is like the Jaws of spider movies, but
somehow,
exactly.
Horrible movie.
That's the
Yeah.
thing, is that it's like the best we got. Then there's like Eight-Legged Freaks, which was a fun idea.
I think that again, this is a good idea for a horror movie, and I might see it. I have one film school critique. I have one.
Sure.
You ready for it?
Sure.
The sound design really took me out of it.
Yeah, I could see that.
But because I was expecting the spider to sound in a way that wasn't movie monsterish.
Right.
To sound like you know who did a good job
They
of
do
that?
the chittering. I like the
Yes.
Yeah.
You know who did a good job of that?
Who?
Peter Jackson in Lord of the Rings.
Oh, yeah.
That spider had cool sounds.
Yeah.
Anyway, not trying to shit on this movie. I love that you were right. It does deserve hype. It's a good idea. It's
yeah,
fun.
I mean, it's I don't know. I like the idea it's an ancient vase that they crack open. There's a big
Full of spider
in it.
eggs.
Yeah, it could have just as easily been this house has a big spider in it.
Yeah.
And who would have cared?
Which is kind of Arachnophobia was more. It was
Yeah.
a jungle spider.
Jungle spider. It
Yeah.
got on a plane. Yeah.
Yeah, I don't know. The director I don't think has done much. It's new director, but he's done a lot of visual effects for other horror movies. So I'm excited to see what the spider itself, how those
It
effects.
looks like there might be more than one spider.
Well,
Probably.
That's always the danger of
Yeah,
spiders.
what else are you gonna do with this?
Mm-hmm.
You'd eventually have more than one, I guess. That makes
Sure.
sense.
Yeah,
That's
and
where
I
that's
mean,
how you
'cause you don't-
escalate that shit.
You don't
Yeah.
really want magic spider. You want it to be a spider.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Just
And this
a
one
really
was-
fucking smart one.
I really
now that you say that,
enjoyed-
I really want to see a spider with a little wizard hat on and a wand.
Yeah.
Sure.
Well, Magic Spider. That's
Sure.
the next
like
one.
hisses
That's the
out
sequel.
spells at you.
Yeah.
No, or it could be either. Either he is like a full wizard, or he doesn't use the wand or the hat in any meaningful way, and is still just a spider. He's just holding.
Just has it.
yeah,
Yeah.
It's just
But
belong.
you know that if it said fire 2, if it whispered fire 2 at you, you'd be pretty stoked on
Yeah.
that.
I feel like that would just been what you're describing is like one of the spiders in Harry Potter that ate a kid.
Yeah,
and took
Meteor.
his robe. Yeah, and it was like, look at me, I'm a wizard now.
Now I'm in
Making fun of him. Yeah,
Who's the Hufflepuff now?
yeah.
Yeah. We know Harry Potter.
But yeah, I like in the trailer that last shot. I that creeped me out. I'm not that creeped out by spiders, but when she's looking, they do a mirror shot, and you're like, oh, another mirror shot, and then they pull out, and it's
It's
like
in the
an aerial
bathtub.
shot, and it's in the
Yeah.
bathtub, just
Yeah.
hanging out.
That was a silly shot.
It was, but it did it for me.
Just very Can I take a brief detour? Very brief, Tom. I know.
Sure.
I can see you tensing up in my mind's eye.
Mm.
Harry Potter. When was
Okay.
the last time you were on Pottermore?
I never.
You've never been on Pottermore?
since we made that.
No.
Since we made that video.
Yes, since we made that video. Thank you for bringing that up, Tom. So,
Oh, I guess once I was like a
yeah.
deer. I
Yeah,
don't
yeah.
know what the fuck I was.
here's what I like about it. To my knowledge, you only get to decide what your Patronus is once. And
Yep.
that's fucking it.
Yeah.
Once per email address. You don't get to fucking change it after that. Which is why, when you get a shitty Patronus, that's the
it.
rest of your life. You're living with that
Yeah,
Patronus.
you're done with it.
And I just am so grateful for the Patronus selection amongst my friends because it's all very bad.
Yeah, it's all terrible.
I texted Bridget the other day just to let her know you still are a weasel. That's all you got. You're not getting
I
a
was the
different one.
weasel, and she was a shrew.
Shrew. Yes,
Oh,
that's
okay.
right. She was a shrew, but she still was a shrew. That's all she gets.
They should have had one that was just Stephen Baldwin, where just for a very
It just
rare,
morphs into
just like I
Stephen
got
Baldwin
Stephen
galloping through a
Baldwin.
wooded glen.
Yeah,
Yeah,
just Biodome Baldwin.
yeah.
Squirrely. It says squirrely at your evil attacker. Anyway, I love that they decided to do that. No, you get one Pottermore. Hope you like it.
Yeah.
Because that's
Well,
it.
it's like real life.
Yeah.
In the wizard world, that
Right,
is.
real life.
Yeah.
Wars. Yes. Thank you, Dave.
Okay. Next, speaking of wizards, that kind of works.
Sort of.
The next. All right. I have one more. I usually only have one, but I don't remember why I decided to also do this one. This is coming out in late summer, so probably also August. This is called The Night Sitter.
Yeah.
It's got 100% Rotten Tomatoes. Only 5 reviews though. It's produced by Jeffrey Reddick, who he wrote Final Destination. He was part of the Final Destination series. And it just like the poster looks really fun, and it's about a babysitter who's like a con artist going to like a rich person's house and finds these artifacts that summon a trio of witches. And then it becomes like, I don't know, Home Alone but with witches.
It does it like so. The 80s had a lot of horror movies that were accidentally silly.
This feels like it's that.
This movie knows how to be silly on purpose.
Yeah.
In a great way.
Yes, this reminds me of Brain Dead.
Yes.
It kind of reminds me of The Gate, but like a silly version of The Gate.
Yes, The Gate. Thank you.
Yeah. Where they know they're being funny, but it also looks kind of creepy, and I like the look. It's got that like what's his name?
Dario?
Dario Argento. Yeah, it's got that like color scheme.
It's like a neon version of Babadook.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Like it shares sort of vibes there.
Yeah, it's a little dooky.
Vibing the
Yeah,
Dukes.
yeah.
Vibing the Dario
It's a
and the
little
Dukes.
Babadooky. Yeah.
The Argent Dukes.
Yeah. It's worth checking out because I think there's something to this.
I liked the casting was very cartoonish.
Right.
Like, this is a movie that's definitely selling you on exactly that vibe you had from a bad horror movie.
Yeah.
And it's good. That seemed cool.
Yeah, and I think I don't know. I think there's something more to it. I guess we'll watch it.
There might be something more to it, but I think it's hard to
I hope it's
intentionally make a funny version of a horror movie that isn't a parody of it.
Yeah.
It's not a parody. It's in a genre of that.
Yeah, for sure.
And they're doing a cool thing that way.
Yeah. You have to have the right amount of randomness. Brain Dead is the one that really comes to mind because that, again, he knows he's being funny when a priest shows up and goes, I kick ass for the Lord, and then kills people.
Yeah.
But it's funny in such a weird way that you're like, what the fuck? And I think this has that potential.
So, just quickly, Dave, did you read the synopsis for the plot of this movie?
It's like a... No?
You didn't. So here's the thing about it that is fascinating from my point of view.
I mean, I did, but what am I
This
missing?
older couple brought in this babysitter who turns out to be a con woman with a ragtag bunch of robbers who are going to rob the house.
Yeah. It's like they team up with the kids, right?
Well, no.
To fight the witches.
The kid and her end up inadvertently becoming friends, is my understanding of it. It's very silly.
Yeah, I assume we're watching like From Dusk Till Dawn situation where all the there's two groups of people who are colliding, and then they all get fucked up, and then by the end there's just like 2 people left.
For sure.
Yeah, I don't know. Yeah.
Side note: I just watched Robert Rodriguez. He did a documentary that was like a he called it Flick School. He did a thing called Flick School.
Yeah, he has the 10-minute film school that he does,
So,
and then he has 10-minute cooking school that he also
might be
will do.
insane. So this is not a new thing, but he basically has all these videos showing all this tech you can do simply, and basically he's built an entire movie studio in his house.
Yes.
And the thing that's amazing about it is not just that, but that there are people just sitting around in his house waiting to be employed by him.
I've seen that.
Yeah, and it's very weird. It's super weird.
I've actually worked in a similar working environment. I was an editor for a guy who did nature documentary stuff and all this stuff where I was just an editor in his house.
Yeah.
But I was pretty active. I wasn't sitting around waiting for him to have a bright idea. I love that Rodriguez is rich enough to just have a crew,
but indie enough to create a strange studio in his home.
Yeah.
He had a phone that was to a person who was waiting to adjust his DVD menus. And in this video, he picks up the phone without dial me to so-and-so, picks it up like they're waiting and okay, we need to move it to the left, then move it up a little bit. Great. Looking great. And meanwhile, he's narrating to the video what he's doing. Yeah. It's amazing, Tom. You have to see this shit.
Oh, yeah. Well, definitely, you should check out. Have you watched Full Tilt Boogie?
No, not yet.
I have
That's
not.
The feature-length making of From Dusk Till Dawn. And
that'd be great.
Robert Rodriguez, he loves teaching people how to make. That's
He's
what
a
the
good
film
filmmaker.
school is.
Yeah.
But he encouraged, because El Mariachi was made famously with $6,000, and it was really irresponsible, and they had fun. And he still has that passion. I don't know if Spy Kids came from this, but he used to take his home videos and just CGI in giant robots and stuff in the background, because that was part of his progression as an indie filmmaker, where he was and computers are now getting cheaper, and you can do this stuff. My point is, Full Tilt Boogie is really fascinating because it actually, you might actually kind of find it boring, because it's literally, they talk to people doing the scheduling and stuff. Like they
Sure.
talk to everybody, and so it's just like, here's what it's like on a film set, and it's like showing all the just the daily boring work shit.
Might still be a good tool.
Yeah. Oh no, it's. I mean, it is fun to watch because they're entertaining.
Sure.
But they just show like, oh yeah, and that night we go and party, and then they just show them partying and shit.
Partying in his office.
Yeah. So anyway, yeah, people should check that out. I really like that. I think it's still on. I think it's on the YouTubes.
I think you can find it on YouTube.
Yeah.
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 Was that it? Was that all we're talking about?
I think that's a sode. I
Okay.
think that's a sode.
Jeez.
Yeah.
Jeez.
I thought that was a sode.
Yeah. It's a Adam Ganser length.
Yeah, it's a
So-
sode and a half. That's what
yeah.
I do.
Yeah. Thanks for Thanks for
Thanks
for being on the show.
Thanks for having me back.
Where,
What a
uh,
pleasure.
Buddy.
Yeah.
What a
where
pleasure.
can we find you? What do you got going on?
You can find me on the Twitter at The Real Gans. You can find my podcast with Mike Swaim, which is One-Upsmanship on the Small Beans Network.
What was the last one you just did? I was listening to.
What did we just release? I want to say it was Assassin's Creed 2.
That's why I was listening to it. Yeah.
Yes.
I enjoyed it.
Thank you.
Mm.
Yeah. We have about 5 or 6 more planned that I think will all be really interesting in one way or the other.
Can you tell us?
Yeah, I mean, well, Final Fantasy VII is one
Okay.
that I'm trying to get through. We have a couple conversations about Subnautica that we're figuring out.
Ooh.
Yeah. I don't want to spoil everything. I did start playing Mortal Kombat 11.
Okay.
Just some other things that you would expect.
Okay.
And a few you wouldn't,
Okay.
you know?
You can do a Rust one? You can do one on Rust? You guys gonna play Rust?
No, I just, I can't quite be bothered with that game yet.
All right, that's fair. That's fair.
I do feel like Red Dead Online deserves some time. I
Oh,
don't know
you're
what we're gonna
right.
do about that.
Because you did one on Red Dead.
Yeah.
Just standard red.
We did.
You should do online.
We did. It's tough because, that touches an area that Mike doesn't want to play. Like, Mike is not as interested in the online multiplayer stuff, which I understand because
It's hard to discuss online multiplayer as well. Like, because you can't discuss story or anything.
Right.
So it's just like, and how about that guy? He was a dick.
Right.
Remember
I mean,
that guy? That
I've been
killed
trying
us?
to figure out how, getting my mind around what it would be to do a Madden episode. Like, how would I talk about John Madden?
Yeah.
You'd
have to talk about it, as the legacy as a whole.
Yes, it's
these
the only way to
games.
do it.
Yeah.
Anyway, that's one of the places you can find me. Perhaps one day in theaters. Let's all hope.
Yes.
Yeah.
Tom, what are we?
Oh man, well, we got a patreon.com/gamefullyunemployed, where you can go there and kick us a few dollars. We've got some exclusive podcasts like Fox Mulder's a Maniac and Tom and Jeff Watch Batman, which are both a lot of fun. We do movie nights with patrons. You can force Dave and I to watch movies and make podcasts about them for a certain tier.
All right.
There's a lot of stuff that's cool and worth checking out if you feel like supporting us. And if you feel like supporting us and you don't really have the extra money to spare, you can just leave us a review on iTunes.
Yeah.
That help. That's a help.
I was
iTunes.
coughing almost to death just now. That whole
I was
time.
wondering. I was a
felt
little
so
worried
bad.
about him. You all
I was
right?
like, I did the old Daver where I had spit fly down the other side of my throat.
no.
Just like, we can do this too. And boy, it was dancing a whole fucking thing in
The
there.
guys, he made it. Adam made it.
barely.
all
That's
the way
what's
down.
important. Yeah.
Yeah, it really did. Yeah.
We've also got a store at tpublic.com/stores/gamefullyunemployed. You can get stickers and shirts and mugs and posters and all kinds of shit for all of our
Do it.
shows and some fun other designs. Yeah, do that thing.
Yeah.
And that's it. That's all.
All right.
That's the only things there are.
Yeah.
That's it. Let's get the hell out of here. Say goodbye, everyone.
Goodbye.
Bye.
Bye. Our music is produced by Chris Corlew. You can follow him on Twitter at @thecorlew, CORLEW, and find more music at shipwreckedsailor.bandcamp.com. Our artwork is produced by Justin Brown. You can follow him on Twitter at @JustinTBrown, and find more of his artwork at artnessbyjustinbrown.com and justinbrown.info.